Okay, we're moving on to our next topic, which is our web survey. We did a survey on the California state template, its different versions and features, and an attempt to make it work better for everyone, not just everyone here, but the Californian users in general. We held this survey between August 23rd and September 7th. We ended up with 42 respondents, and the survey consisted of 9 questions. Here the questions are, and starting with, are you currently using any of the following client-side applications? And well, since Eric will go through all of these in detail, we can jump right into each question one by one and some of the results, starting with the first one here. Eric? Sure. Is this on? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Eric. I work here upstairs with a bunch of these people. And we wanted to do this survey to inform the next version of the state template, which Art is going to be talking about. So a lot of what we found out here is going into what he's doing next. Primarily, we wanted to understand what the community was using as far as technologies in order to make the next template version easier to use, because up until now, as I think most of you know, it's done from a Dreamweaver perspective, right? So if you have Dreamweaver, works great. Myself, I use web forms and Razor. It's a little more difficult. We have PHP people out there. There's probably people using Eclipse and Java. We wanted to find what the community was using. So the next, closer, right? All right. So the community would then get something easier to use. So first question, oh, by the way, we're going to do this, I think, regularly, kind of like every so often, maybe the question is going to change. But as far as the technologies on the client side, we just kind of wanted to double check. Everyone's, of course, using HTML, JavaScript, CSS. That kind of confirmed what we already thought was happening. And additional responses were jQuery. I think a lot of people are using jQuery these days, right? JSON, ASP.NET, but it gets to some of the next ones. Looking at the server side, this, for me, was getting really interesting. You look at the first 2 items up there refer to operating systems. You have Linux about a third and 2/3 Windows. So Linux web servers are really, I think, growing as a bigger slice of the pie. Going down here, server-side includes, I think a lot of you guys use that because the existing template uses that, I think. So that's not surprising. But look at this next one, PHP. That's huge. So a lot of folks are starting to use PHP on the server side. So when you're looking at what a server-side include does, you might swap that out for how PHP does the same thing. This is a little bit of a surprise, ASP. It's the old ASP, that's now 15 years old. ASP.web forms. So this is not a surprise. A lot of our websites use this. And then, to a lesser extent, Razor. This is my world right there. I thought Cold Fusion would be more. SSL certificates in Node.js, which is really interesting. How many people use Node.js? Down here? A lot of people who responded do. So looking at this, the next template would certainly take into consideration PHP, followed by, well, server-side includes PHP, web forms, and Razor. So what Art's going to be talking about a little bit is the next version of the template's going to have those flavors of projects. So the template implemented in those technologies coming up. So I think this is some of the additional responses we had. ASP.NET MVC really is Razor. We probably should have asked people if they're doing MVC. Unix, Perl. Then we asked what kind of development platform people are using. And here are the top responses. Dreamweaver, not a surprise. A lot of folks using the text editor, and I thought this would be higher, Visual Studio, but as many people are using the text editor as Visual Studio, and I think maybe a lot of these folks are the Linux developers, because you won't see this on Linux. Some additional things there. Okay, this asks people, and I thought this one was super duper interesting, because this is asking folks in terms of where they're going with the CMS, what they're using. CA web publishing is down around 20%. Drupal, but look at this WordPress. So of the respondents, I mean, almost all of them have an interest in either using WordPress or they're already using WordPress. So when we talk about template development going forward, definitely have to take this into consideration. Some other CMS products people are using. Okay. So for the future, we have, this is like the top responders for that. Adobe Experience, CA Web Publishing, Drupal, WordPress is high. And then there's some others. And these are probably those, what Kevin was talking about, the little slices of pie, the .NET Nukes and whatnot that are in here. So again, WordPress is, I think, a big deal. And I think these are just general responses regarding what people want to do the template, kind of get away from the technology a little bit. Maybe I should let Art talk about some of this stuff, huh? No? Anyways, as far as the back-end technologies and whatnot, I think for me, the takeaway was we have to pay attention to PHP because it's really big and a big push in the community. WordPress users are going to need to have a template they can use. And some of the other technologies come and involved. So a lot of this is going to become involved with what Art's going to be talking about. Art, do you want to talk about some of this stuff here? Okay.
Thank you, Eric. Guess I'm going to just jump in ahead of time. So some of the other questions as far as the survey, things like the color schemes, just wanted to get a feel what you guys want from the template. I know we've traditionally in the past provided more color schemes. With version 4, there's only 5. And then I kind of had a feeling that we were probably missing like a whole bunch of other color schemes, like more neutral ones, you know, using subdued colors and things like that. So this kind of confirms that is you guys want more color options. You definitely, so that's one thing we can take away from that question. This one is additional color schemes. Would be interested in seeing California State templates. So these are just additional responses, I guess. Easier way to customize to fit the branding. So that's something that I'm going to talk about later as far as the tools we want to provide to help you guys match your brand. So you have your agency logo or branding, right? And the state template has to take that into account. So what would you like to see in future template releases? And so some of the top responses were more pre-templated page layouts, and page layouts is one of those things where it's like, here's a starter page for what a news list or news article page would be, or this is what let's see, what are some of the things, like here's a typical landing page, or maybe a services page or something. So you guys are the respondents here at least were saying that they'd like to see more pre-templated page layouts. Also components, right? So with version 4, we introduced a bunch of content components. In the previous years, we mainly focused on sort of like the actual template, the header, the footer area. So we want to build on the content components and provide even more tools, give you more tools to successfully communicate whatever you're trying to achieve on the web. What would you like to see in the future template releases? The look and feel of Sierra.gov, which is what we're getting to that next. More expensive adaptive visual layouts, which is the same thing. We want to always add more tools, give you more tools at your disposal. Yes, remove the spooks. So that's another thing I'm going to get into. You can actually check these out in detail. This presentation will be available. So yeah, this just confirms that people want more tools at their disposal. This is not a surprise either. What template versions are you currently using? Version 4. Most people are on version 4. Some are on the 2013, and that was the version right before version 4. So it's got a very similar look and feel, minus the new structure and all that, the schema and things like that. Somebody on 2010 and 2007. So some more responses there. What template are you currently using? A lot of you guys are modifying the standard template, which to meet your branding needs. Mostly it has to do with branding, because the template only provides so much, so you have to customize your website to meet your department's branding goals. This is another interesting question. What if you're not currently using the California State template version 4, when do you plan to implement version 4? Okay, so some are never going to implement that. Some in 3 to 6 months. Wait until 4.5. Wait until 5. And so that's just an interesting spread there. Some custom responses like this budget year, and then very soon. And then some departments, I guess, are dependent on their agency. So whenever the agency is going to adopt a new template, that's when they're going to do that.